Good morning, Raymond, Achina, and Enimwa.
Morning, Daniel.
Good morning, Daniel.
All right, how are we all doing this morning?
Super.
I'm good. By God's grace.
All right.
Yeah, we are doing well.
How do you know?
Raymond spoke
He
for
spoke for
someone.
us. Oh my God.
How do you know how
This is the first time you've said.
I'm so excited. Okay. So, let's do the Chronicle first. Anyway.
All right, on the front page of the Chronicle, savagery at Nsawam. Police scoop out man's eyeball. Victim's right eye lens dislocated. That's according to a doctor. And the words of the victim, I think one last hefty blow from one of them gave me a new life. And before I knew it, I was at the charge office. I'll be bringing you more on that story in the review. Also, High Court shoots down Agongo again.
Okay, the New Crusading Guide. I was begged to destroy Anas, and this is coming from the Honorable Kennedy Japan. Also, you have Japan Motor residents Bumun attacks by Lakeside Estates, with soldiers and land guards despite court injunction on them not to attack them. Okay, you also have presiding member donate mosque to Denchibour District Assembly. Then also Ni Abewe installs new family head at Kwabenya. The last story, Aducho family sets record straight over Abokobi demolition.
And the Finder has these stories on the front page. It is below average. AMA report indicts waste management companies. I'll tell you more about that later on. But government firms up $180 million deal for agriculture mechanization and also water too. Oh, you heard about the Agongo opening story and
yes.
Is the name Agongo or Agongo? Just accent.
It's a proper noun, so sometimes we have liberty to mention it as we are able to.
Anyway, so those are the stories on the front page of the Finder.
On the front page of the Economy Times, expects fuel prices to increase further. That's according to oil marketers, and this is despite the almost 5% increment in fuel prices a fortnight ago. Banks' profits growth dropped significantly, and cedi depreciation. Euphoria test approach is short-lived. This according to some economists, including Professor John Gachi.
The Ghanaian Times, fight against scam messages. Telcos block 400,000 daily. That is the Minister for Communication here, Madame Esla Ekofil. Then Reverend Owusu Bempa fails to honor police invitation. We also have 3 Ghanaian Times journalists give statement to police. Also, Africa Climate Change Week kicks off in Accra.
The Graphic Business is reporting these stories. SOEs to calculate dividend on gross profit, GRA to track traders at night, and of course the other stories that you'll be interested in on the front page of the Graphic Business.
And finally, from me, on the front page of the Daily Graphic, AMA to sanction non-performing waste management service providers. Also, NADMO to use satellites for emergency response. MTN launches 4G Plus service to enhance data. And police military brutalities on journalists. No prosecution since 2006. And finally, government receives $40 million to improve secondary education.
Okay, I have here the Daily Statesman. Opuni Agongo suffer another blow. Jet rejects motion for stay of proceedings. I also have government seals $150 million Exim Bank deal for agric mechanization and Yendi Water project. Also, government to boost domestic airline business reviews $92,000 licensing fee.
Now, the Daily Guide is reporting this morning Bamia honored with 12 scholarships. Kumasi goes Agog for 2-4, and CID invites Owusu Bempa. And the very last one, attempts to halt Opuni trial file, and that story we've been telling more about. Germany believes in Ghana. That's also the front page of the Daily Guide.
Any more police?
Yes, there are quite a number of police stories, but I'll start with the front page of the Daily Graphic, which talks about the fact that no prosecutions have been made since 2016. And this is, of course, on attacks on journalists. So more than 25 journalists and media employees since 2006 have been brutalized by the police. And in most cases, no compensation has been paid. In some cases, we do get an apology. Some of these journalists include Victor Kwaukume from from the Daily Graphic, Lateef Idrisu from Multimedia, Gifty Lawson, Daily Guide, that was 2012. The most recent, the 3 Ghanaian Times reporters, we have Jeffrey Bruta from the Ghanaian Times, that was Tamale 2014, Nimate Botre from the Graphic, Vincent Dachi of the New Times in 2013, and the list goes on and on. Now, the GJA, the president of the GJA has been speaking, Mr. Roland Moni, and he says that this issue is a complex one that needs a collective decision. He is asking that the media come together and deal with this as one body. He cited an example when last year he asked for the boycott of a forum that was organized by the police and the Media Foundation for West Africa. He asked that it be boycotted until the issue of Mr. Lateef Idrisu had been dealt with. The problem with that was that some media houses defied the request, attended and reported on the event. His points being that if we're not united, then we cannot deal with this issue. The executive director of the Media Foundation, Mr. Suleiman Abraiba, also has been speaking and says that the lack of prosecution of police officers breeds a culture of impunity where people think they can do anything and get away with it. Now, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. David Eklu, was contacted about these issues. His response in an email says the list you sent did not indicate whether a complaint was lodged by the victims at any police station. It will be good to know whether that was done to make follow-ups on police action possible. I think his statement speaks very clearly about the fact that they actually are not keeping track of what is actually going on.
We know one that there was a complaint made about, and they told us they were investigating, and that's to do with Lateef's own. As we sit here, they've not told us anything concrete. Indeed, the police cannot trace its own. People it deployed to go and keep the place safe in front of the CID headquarters
have mysteriously disappeared from the police force. Yes, and speaking about the police continuing, somewhere in Sawam Sechikrom, a man's eyeball has been scooped out by the police. So he had an issue with another man. It's a very long story, but he had an issue with another man about some spiritual issues and stuff. He owns a pub, and so the police came to the pub, apparently at the request of the other person, to come and take him to the police station. He resisted a bit because he said he was very busy, and if he could come to the police station after 4 o'clock when his daughter came to take over the shift. He said they dragged him into the taxi and began to beat him. They beat him, they used his head as a punching bag. They took him to the police station. He did not receive medical care until much later on when he insisted. And the hospital report says the victim's right eye lens has been dislocated. He has hazy right. I mean, it's a lot of medical jargon, but he can't see through his right eye pretty much. And so he is also asking that something be done about this issue, especially because he didn't actually have an issue with the police, but somebody had reported him, and in coming to pick him up, this is what happened. Now, my last story in relation to the police doesn't actually have to do with police brutality, but it's actually about the story of the worker of the power distribution service at Kokobite, who was assaulted over the weekend. I don't know if you've been following that story. The 39-year-old PDS worker, their lights had gone off in that area. They were trying to fix the lights. A man was walking by. They asked him to move from where he was walking because they were afraid a tree might fall on him. He picked up a cutlass and started to chase these PDS workers, managing to almost slice off this man's nose off his face. Now, there's a picture of him. His face has been stitched up, but you can see the scar and the severity of the injury. The police are asking that if you know anything about this man, that you please come to the Kokobite police station and give them as much information as possible to help with the case.
Raymond, let's stay with the subject of assault, shall we?
Yes, the editorial of The Finder, and my good friend Elvis Dako puts it properly. He actually says that assault cases, no selective justice pleas, as it is a plea to the police. His claim is that when it comes to processing and prosecuting cases involving their very own, that's the police in this case, they are very swift. You'll be amazed as the extreme glee and excitement with which they do their job, and they're able to get to the bottom of the matter calmly. Some examples are cited. For example, he takes about 1998. You know Kweku Ninja, right? That police officer from the Odoko place. His actual name is Constable Osu Sechere, and his friend, his Jerry Wono. These are people who have some skills in martial arts, and they were both 24. They were in that year killed and buried under a newly constructed building. The police, within a matter of days, weeks, were able to not only assume the body, but get to the bottom of the matter, get the people behind this particular crime and deal with them sufficiently. 13 years down the line, somewhere we know that there was this incident involving one other police officer whose name is Kwesikwe, and Kwesikwe was 36. And again, the police were able to trace the people who were behind the killing of 2 police constables, and these people were dealt with sufficiently. In fact, the police did so well that in a matter of days, they could deal with such a very, very complex crime.
Efficient, yes.
Efficient in that particular case. And all the people involved were finally, in fact, some were even gotten outside the country, brought back into the country and dealt with, and others were in other regions too. So they virtually dispersed with little evidence. The police were able to track them and bring them back to where they needed to be. Fast forward to January 2018, we all know what happened in the Kwabena police jailbreak incident, and how the police was very fast as getting all the people. In fact, it reached a point, almost 30 people were starting trial on that matter. The complex way they delivered that particular jailbreak, and the people who left, some to Togo, others to Burkina Faso, were all brought together in a nice way and dealt with the way they ought to be dealt with by the law. And then, of course, there's a recent one on Saturday where the driver and his mates beat up the police officer. And the interesting part is that when the people were sent to court and they realized they were going to be remanded to April 1, the people started crying. I mean, I thought they had enough strength, but the men displayed not so much of the strength on the ground there. More importantly, the point that the Finders editorial is making is that we don't see, and in 2 hours after the incident happened, the people were put before court. In 2 hours after the incident, we don't see the same excitement, the same pace, the same energy with which the police can get to the bottom of their own matter in matters that involve we who pay them. So that is the concern of the editorial here. They want the Ghanaian Times issue, they want the Latif issue dating back, all the issues you outlined.
They want them, cases.
Yes, they want them dealt with the same speed. So we don't think that they are there for themselves. It's not being there for the rest of us in the country too.
Achina looks like he has something on his mind.
Exactly. Not on his story though.
Tell us about Tripoli.
Exactly. It's a heart-rending story. 2 people have been killed in the latest bout of conflict, and this is in the northeast part of the country, and it involves the Konkombes and the Chokosis in this particular conflict. Let me say that prior to the latest report, the conflict had renewed, or the conflict came about again in December 31st, 2018. At the time, the Minister for Interior set up a committee which was headed by Patrick Kwati Echampon, the former IGP. As we speak, the committee has presented its report, and it's expected that the minister and the people responsible will act on that particular report. At the time the conflict came about, curfew was imposed in that part of the land from 4 p.m. to I think 6 a.m. in the morning. Death toll at the time was around 5, and it was said that about 5,000 people were displaced as a result of the conflict. People were struggling to get food, people were struggling to get water, and this is just about what we are also seeing in the latest bout of conflict. As we speak, NADMO is struggling to reach to people with relief items because its members are not safe in the places where the conflicts have intensified. So it is expected that more military and police personnel will be deployed to the affected areas so that sanity can prevail. It must be said that the Konkombes appear to be in the majority, and the Chikosis are in the minority in that part of town. And it does appear that sometimes the conflict is over land, and sometimes it's over one person who is either being shot. In this particular instance, is somebody who has been shot, and it is coming at the back of peace that has just been brought to the Dagbon part of that town, and we were hoping that this was going to be a thing of the past. But it does appear that we have to do more to not just show for peace, but also on the ground make sure that indeed people are completely safe.
Right, thanks. Bima, let's come back to Accra.
Yes, the AMA has graded the sanitation companies or service providers in the region. They are not impressed with most of them. Indeed, none of the companies in the region got to the 85% delivery requirement contained in their performance contract for the third quarter of 2018. The one that came close to doing anything reasonable, and we need to name and shame, is Jakura Ventures, that performed, let's say, 80%. The remaining service providers in 7 zones performed below average, and these are: 1, Zoom Lion Domestic, we are talking about Ayawaso Central, and Zoom Lion also taking care of Ablekuma Central, got 61% and 61% in that case. Now Metropolitan and Allied got that's working in Ablekuma Central, 43%. J Stanley also and Co got, that's working in Okaikwe South, got 40%. Now Metropolitan and Allied for Ablekuma South 2 also got 36%. Tropical Waste Asiedu Keteke got 28.3%, and Mesquad Limited also got 22%. Now for Sukulote, for example, the Jakura Ventures registered 24,000 households out of the estimated 36,000 and supplied 12,000 bins. And the criteria is pretty simple. You have to register all the places that you are actually taking garbage from. You have to make sure that you keep the register updated. You have to provide them with bins, and I know my house there's none. That's supply standard solid waste bins, not any bin at all. I want to make that clear. Not the kind of
just any bins.
Yes, supply standard ones, and that's also they are failing in doing so. What I want to know is whether the AMA is going to cancel their contract with these groupings, find new ones to do the job, and do it very well. We cannot consistently have difficulties with garbage and its related cholera, so that later we will deploy much of our money to deal with the problem in different ways, so that we have the health service having to pop up their budget to deal with these things. If you sign contract institutions that are supposed to perform, we want the AMA to come back and tell us we cancel these contracts because they fail to deliver to the standards that we want to see them do.
Right, Achina, let's go to Sunyani. There's an outbreak of scabies.
Yes, but I was hoping if we can rather do the Ghana ranked 25th country with least mobile data charges. Then I will come to that quickly. Now, this will be a surprising information, but it's a research finding that is coming from cable.co.uk. According to this information, Ghana is one of the cheapest places you can get mobile data. According to the information, Ghana is ranked 25th in terms of getting least price of data, and the most expensive form of data can also be gotten from Zimbabwe, and in Zimbabwe 1 gig of data is being sold for $75, and in the case of Ghana, the price according to the research is ranging from $1.56. If you convert it, they are telling us that a data for Ghana will give you an average price of 25 Ghana cedis. They are using
that's a gigabyte of data.
Yes, they are using both the average rating, so between $0.34 and also $4.75. For the most expensive form of data in Ghana, it's going to be between $4.75, and the least price of data is going to be 0.34 data. Obviously, this will be according to the kind of mobile network
that you're using and the bundle. And
yes,
the
they are giving some reasons for this. According to the researchers, mobile data is very cheap in some countries because of an impressive and efficient mobile and fixed broadband infrastructure. So if the kind of infrastructure that is operating this network, it's quite efficient, then obviously the prices for the data is also going to be low. I think on the back of this story, we are all expecting that Vodafone will launch its 4G today, and also MTN is also served notice to launch its 4G Plus also today. Generally, the complaint is that mobile data is high, but from this research findings, it does appear
the cost of it, right?
The cost of it is high, but from this research, it does appear that we are even lucky to be paying what we are paying for data.
Interesting. Let's stay on the subject, Achina. And I understand telcos are blocking 400,000.
I wish that anyone would take her about before I come in.
All right. Let's go there. Anyone, back to you.
Yeah, so the facilities expansion projects, which forms part of the 40 million additional financing from the World Bank, this is for schools. And remember that we're getting $500 million securitization from, that's 40% of GET Fund and the normal GET Fund, and then this 40 million, which forms the, remember also that the World Bank committed to helping us build 23 schools. So the $40 million for that has come, and that is about to take off. Now, we know that Mahama started this project. Out of the 23 schools, there's 15 remaining to be built. So this money has been allocated to building 9, and it's underway. And then after that, the 5 will be completed later. This money is going to be used to improve facilities and learning outcomes for education, especially for SHS, both the schools that are doing the double track and the single track as well. So just an update that money has come, that we've started that work, and that hopefully some of the areas which have, remember also that there's 766 abandoned and new structures that have to be completed in terms of school structures, and so they'll be working on that as well.
Yeah, there was a part that under the secondary education improvement program, which the World Bank funded, which is also what was used to start the new schools for senior high schools, the E blocks under the John German.
That's the 23 World Bank.
There was a section for specialized scholarships. So the extremely poor, who predominantly women in senior high schools, who were identified, where not only their tuition fee was not only paid, they also gave them pocket money, some very substantial amount, to be able to do the other things that they are doing. I don't know under free SHS whether we are still continuing with that project or now all have to be subsumed, because of course there's no pocket money component of the free SHS in this case.
All right, let's move online now. In the online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank. In your best interest, GOIL Good Energy. Now, do you want to save drastically on your electricity bills and save money for your home, company, and institution? Then your solution is Build Free Solar Air Conditions. Build Free Solar Air Conditions are driven by 80% solar energy and 20% electricity. Enjoy excellent cooling without stress on your budget. And now the exciting news is that Build Free's solar air conditioner now provides a monthly installment plan for institutions, individuals, and government agencies. So enjoy the best cooling now while you pay in 4 installments. Contact Energy Mondial for your Build Free Solar Air Conditions on 050 000 1096 or 055 248 5507. They are located at Old Wager Barrier off Malam Kaswa Highway on the Bojo Beach Road. Visit us on em-gh.com. Build Free Solar Air Conditions, your total energy saving solution. Now, GOIL, your #1 CIMG award winner and #1 OMC, salutes all Ghanaians as we celebrate our proud history and heritage. Your freedom comes with choosing GOIL. So just continue to patronize our quality fuel, superior lubricants, reliable gas supplies, and other trusted services, and you will feel the good energy. Together with you, our customers, we have supported the nation, and together with you, we will continue the partnership to grow our economy. Be a patriot every day. Buy GOIL. Let's grow Ghana. GOIL, good energy. GOIL, Yenara Yedia. Now, be that person who makes payments anytime, anywhere without the need to carry cash, or that person who lives light because you use the Zenith mobile app to pay bills, top up airtime, effect instant transfers, top up investments, and so much more. Use the Zenith mobile app and be that person. Avoid delays and keep afloat with the simple things in life. Simply sign up for Zenith Bank's electronic banking solution today and live light. Go light with Zenith Bank. It's faster and smarter. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Party security are malicious, not vigilantes. And Mr. Ernest Kofi Aboshi, Executive Secretary of the Short Commission, speaking there.
No democracy can survive without political stability. And indeed, if anybody is a student of Ghanaian history, will know that we have the 4th Republic because we've had 3 republics. And the reason we have 3 republics in the past is because we've had episodes of military interventions. So political stability is probably the biggest oxygen, if you like, to the current democratic dispensation. And in that regard, nobody can toy with security and stability. So attending to this with the swiftness and urgency required, I think is one that deserves commendation, and therefore moving forward, if you ask me about impact, that's one thing I say can be credited to the setting up of the commission.
So that was Mr. Ernest Kofi Abochi. He was speaking on PM Express last night, and expect more of that because we're going to bring you more key parts of that conversation. The most revealing parts of that conversation he had with Evans Mensah will be on the Super Morning Show this morning, so you don't want to miss it. It's favorite. This is the first time that he's speaking after the submission of the report to the president, so you want to stay with us on the Super Morning Show this morning. Also on other issues. Okay. The Eurobond pricing is expected on Tuesday as Oforiatta ends London Roadshow. That's myjoyonline.com, bbc.com. Cyclone Idai. Mozambique president says 1,000 may have died. Anymore?
How excited are you about Nzulezu?
Oh, I am. I'm so excited. It's amazing.
So Nzulezu's this weekend. If you're listening, if you want to come and join us, we're leaving Saturday morning. It's 600 cedis if you're coming alone. It's 800 cedis if you're coming as parts of a couple. Remember that if you come alone, accommodation is shared. It's an overnight trip, but it will be amazing. So call the number. The number is
0544 336 512. 0544 336 512.
And that's my able assistant on the Nzulezu public announcements speaking. But yes, call the number and join us, and let's take that drive and go out there and have some fun.
All right. Also coming up on the Super Morning Show this morning, we are asking you to send us in any challenges that you have had with the justice delivery system. Do you think justice delivery is too slow in the country? Have you ever had this phantom missing dockets? Where do those dockets go?
It's a shock.
Where do those dockets go? I mean, is there something that swallows the dockets in the court system?
And they miraculously reappear sometimes.
You see, this is the thing. We don't spend enough time talking about solutions.
No, we don't.
No,
we don't.
So it's key that when a solution is being developed to a problem that affects, we understand, 80% of the population. 80% of the population. We should definitely.
We need to talk about it, and we'll be doing that.
Officers of the Judicial Service will be joining us this morning on the show, and we will be having that discussion. And what is your favorite Ghanaian food? Achana, what's your favorite Ghanaian food?
Okay, I like banku, groundnut soup, and chicken.
Wait, banku and groundnut soup.
Yes.
Banku and chicken.
Please, and chicken.
Hey, Charlie, this man is borrowing from all sorts of combinations.
A little okra to garnish it.
A little okra to
garnish.
To make it sticky. I do the same thing with all the
restaurant
soups.
at the back here.
Yes.
Hey, the rich people who go to restaurants. Okay. Remember the single occupancy for the Nzulezu trip is 800 cedis, and double occupancy is 600 cedis. Single occupancy is 800 cedis. Double occupancy is 600 cedis. We'll be back with the 6 a.m. news after this.